Welcome to Mydbops Open Source Database Meetup 12th edition. To subscribe our channel, click on the bell button, like, comment.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So I'm Praveen, an associate database consultant in Mydbops. So today we are going to see about seamless schema change with schema tool. Yeah, it's about myself. So I'm interested in open source database technology. I have 4 years of experience in MySQL. I'm a Oracle certified DBA, experienced in both on-premises as well as in cloud. So I'm a tech speaker as well as active blogger. About Mydbops, so we are serving open source databases founded in 2016. We are having 80 plus members and we have served more than 500 plus customers. We are proud to say that we are AWS partner, ISO as well as PCI certified organization. Basically, we are providing two sets of services: consulting services as well as managed database services. So for Postgres, MongoDB, MariaDB, on both on premises as well as in cloud. Before getting into this main presentation, let's see what are the basic problems that we are facing when we are deploying any of the DDLs on the multiple servers especially. So when we are having multiple set of sort servers, we need to execute in each and every servers. So the time taken or the time spent for framing, that will be high, as well as we need to decide whether we need to go with the direct alter or with the third-party tools as like PT Online Schema to avoid lockings or any without causing any production issues. So for that we need to manually decide what is the table size. If it is huger, we need to go with the online schema change, otherwise the direct alter is fine. So for that type of validation need to be done, as well as for any kind of servers we will have a standard practice of QA as well as dev environment before deploying anything in the production. So for that also we need to maintain the series. First we need to test it everything in production QA as well as in test. Then we need to once there is no issue or successfully deployed, we need to move on to the production. That kind of environmental maintenance is also there. Then as well as the syntax validation, which means whether we have framed the correct syntax or not, the execution will work fine or not. These kind of all the validation need to be done before getting any alter need to be executed. So to overcome all of this issue, schema tool will be a useful one. So today we are going to see about that, about overview of the schema tool, then the internal workflow, basic operation, as well as the notable options, production use case and its limitation. First, overview of schema tool. So it is written in Golang, and the tool is mainly in actively development, and also it is supported DDL. DDL instance, it's not completely supporting the truncate or rename is not actually supported. Only the create, drop and alter is supported. Then the supported flavors are MySQL, MariaDB, Percona and Aurora. Installation. So in installation we have two variants. So one is with the community edition, which is a free one. Another one is the premium. Premium has its own subscription of either monthly basis or yearly basis. So whereas if we need to go with the community, we need to duplicate and we need to install it on the own. Whereas the premium will be provided via the M or apt get based on the OS flavor. The requirements. So since we are going to perform the alter on thing, we need the MySQL level privileges as well, like alter, drop, create index, everything, as well as the supported major supported engines or InnoDB. For non-InnoDB engines, it's partially supported, and the supported versions are for MySQL and Percona, it's from 5.5 to 8.0, whereas in MariaDB it's from 10.1 to 10.8, and in the Aurora it's from 5.6 to 8.0. Internal workflow. Um, After installation of the schema tool, first we need to initialize the setup. For each and every server, we need to do the initialization. When we are doing initialization, it will create a host level directory on a particular directory. So inside the host level directory, the database directory will be get created. Like in MySQL, we will have a database as a directory in the host level, right? Like a same scenario, the database directory will be created along with the schema, hidden file of .schema. The hidden file will holds the metadata, like what is the host IP, then what is the corresponding user password which has been used for the initialization, as well as the what flavor it is, whether it's MariaDB or MySQL or the Percona, that kind of flavor information will be contained in the like a metadata file it will be. Whereas the data directory will have a SQL file, .SQL file, which holds the table structure of the whatever the table presence inside the data directory. The structures will be get stored in the .SQL file. Along with that, the metadata file will be there, which holds the character set for the schemas. So once the initialization is done, we can move on to the operations. So operation, we have different sets like diff, lint, push and pull. So diff instance, if we need to do any of the DDLs, so we need to modify it in the SQL file, which is present under the data directory. The SQL file, as I have mentioned, it will have the create statement, the complete stable structure. So if you need to add any column or index or anything, we need to modify in the SQL file. So when we are running a diff command, it will compare the SQL file with the current structure of the database. So whatever differences is there, it will be displayed that the new index has been added in the SQL file, or new column, anything what changes we have made, that will be get displayed. So lint is for the parsing, the syntax that we have used for modifying the SQL file. The column addition we can add it, but even though if we have missed any comma in that, it will be a syntax error. So this lint will be useful for parsing the file that we have modified. So how it is parsing means, it will create a temporary schema in the server, named as underscore schema underscore file. It will be get created. The changes has been done will be get implemented on the temp db first, and it will parse it. If there is any issue or any error, it will throw it to us, and it will drop the temporary database that has been created. Push. So when the changes has been confirmed, and we need to push it to the production servers, we need to give schema push. So which will first go through two sets of config file. One is global, another one is local config. Global config instance, it is applied for all the servers which has been initialized, whereas the local config is the hidden file which is present under this host directory. So based on our server configuration, we will give a different set of, like we can either go for the direct alter, or what is the chunk size, everything based on server we need to decide it. So that we can mention in local config. Otherwise general set of things can be mentioned in the global config. So it will be push the changes to the schemas. Then pull. what if no one is, someone of doesn't use the schema tool, and they have directly added any index or dropped anything directly on the DB. So because these stats won't be get updated in the SQL file. If anyone is trying to rerun it without pulling, means it will holds only the historical one. So it may lead to any drop or anything, but the schema tool won't drop it, but it will give a warning that a drop is present. So before running anything, we need to pull the updated stats, then move on to the any of the operations. So all the logs has been present in the upcoming slides, so it will be more clear. Basic operation. Like this, we need to initialize first. Like schema is my base directory that I have considered it. So schema init, then the host, which host need to be initialized. Then the test is my username and the password, whereas the D indicates the directory. So inside the schema directory, the host directory of production will be get created by schema tool itself. So you can see, right, home is my home directory. Inside that I have considered the schema as the base directory. Then the production has been created. Inside that a database directory is getting created, and it started saving the SQL file. It will be get applied for all the database presented inside the server. Yeah. So at the host at the base directory, just for the logs, you can see that production directory has been created, which is the host level directory. Inside the host directory, it will have the databases as a directory, and the hidden file, as I have mentioned. So it will have the whether the schema tool is a premium edition or community, then what is the flavor, host, user, password, all the metadata of that server which we have initialized. Inside the host level, inside the database directory, we will have the hidden file, a metadata file which holds the character set, as well as the SQL files which holds the complete table structure. Whatever thing, whether we need to add any of the alter, so we need to modify it. If we need an index, we need to edit this SQL file by giving a comma, and we need to add it as like a table structure. So based on this only, the modification will be occurred by the schema tool. For linters for the query browsing, I have voluntarily given a wrong one to demonstrate this. That's mean in the SQL file I have given a syntax error. So it's giving a error which is as usual giving by a MySQL because it's just executing in a temporary database, and it's giving the error message to us. So the lint will pause the query, and it will show that there is a issue on this SQL file where the modification has been done. The diff. So I have added an index. So when I am giving a diff, it's showing that under Praveen database there is changes has been made, and this is the dry run command. That's mean I have used the third-party tool of PT Online Schema to because in the upcoming slide I have logs for that as well, which shows how to add the third-party tool along with this schema tool. So to show off that, I have added it. So it will show a dry run like a structure that what command is going to be executed and what alter is going to be done. Push. So it will check all the schemas, even with the diff or push. It will check whether the other schemas has a differences or not. When doing a push as well, if there is no differences, it will just push the alter which the SQL file which has the differences, or the the structure which has been changed. So pull is for the pulling the latest data structure from the database. So you can see, right, I have dropped the index which has been created voluntarily. So when we are pulling it, you can see, right, the write has been happened on the SB test table, whereas the rest of them doesn't have any of the differences. Notable flags. So alter algorithm. So alter algorithm and alter log, like online alter that provided by the MySQL. For like alter algorithm, we can mention either in place or copy, and also log we can mention none or shared based on our convenience, and concurrent instances. So this is the main one, because when we are having multiple servers, we need to enable this option. Otherwise, it will go with the sequential of initialization that has been happened in the base directory. So when we are mentioning the concurrent instances, it will for example, if I am giving 2 to 3 minutes, three instances will be alter will be get executed concurrently, not in a sequential. So foreign key checks, if any of the alter is going with a direct alter, the foreign key checks will be get disabled in a session level, and the alter will be get performed. What if really the foreign key is a mandatory or the required one, we need to enable this foreign key checks. Then alter wrapper, it is the flavor what we need to add, either the PT online schema or with the ghost, anything that we can mention it in the alter wrapper. And alter wrapper minimum size, it is the margin. So if I'm mentioning 1 GB, means if any of the table size is exceeding more than 1 GB, it will go with the wrapper what flavor that I have mentioned. If I does if the table size is lesser than 1 GB or mentioned margin, it will go with the online alt that is a margin for that. Then allow unsafe. So mainly the allow unsafe is for if any of the table that we are dropping or any drop is actually happening with the schema push, it won't actually drop the thing. That means it's a table or column, whatever it is, it won't drop it. It give a warning message and it will come out. So when we are pushing the when we are giving schema push, we need to mention hyphen allow unsafe as well. That means we are voluntarily accepting that drop. So schema will drop the required thing. The production use cases. So if we need it for validation only for a particular schema, not for the entire server, so we need to go inside the database and run the schema diff. That is the only thing we need to do. If we need it the difference only for the particular schema, means go inside the database directory and run the schema command. So because it is referring only to that metadata and considering the particular schema, and it's getting validated. So particular schema initialize. So just consider we are having 6 to 7 sorts, but different sorts has different databases. So when we are running a common diff, it will consider that some of the databases are extra created on other sorts, and it may lead to the dropping of that databases. So when we are having a common database on the sort, it's better to go with the initialization for particular schema instead of whole server initialize. So after we can initialize with the particular schema, so the validation everything will be happen only for this schema. So my if I run it now, I have initialized 2 set of servers. One is with the production one. One is with the production one, and the other one is the production. So if I am running a schema diff from the base directory of the schema, it will compare all the servers. It will consider all the servers and it will run a diff. So see there is a it's considering the production as well as the production one for identifying the differences. So, then for the individual server, as usual, for individual schema, we have went inside the database directory to execute only for that schema. If it is a individual, we need to done it for an individual server. Just we need to go inside the individual server directory and run the schema diff. So it will consider only that server for the operation. enabling concurrency. So it's the global file, etc schema is the global file, otherwise we can set it under user local etc as well. So this is the concurrent option that I have considered as a file. So the file instance will be getting executed parallelly. The algorithm lock options as well, this is the wrapper. So we need to the PT online schema should be installed. It is not taken care by the schema tool. The PT online schema should be pre-installed, since we are using as a additional option. So and as well as we need to mention the complete path. Now we can't simply give PT online schema. We need to give the exact complete path of that package. Then only it will be get considered. So and one more thing is, it's like a template. So only the alter class, the required things will be get changed, remaining things will be like a template only. If we need additional options, we need to add it in the global file for that. Then alter wrapper minimum size, just for a demo case I have considered 1 MB. Environment based. So when we are having multiple environments for each server, so we there is no need for initializing each environment as a different server. Instead of that, we can go to the host directory and we can add the environment. So I'm just adding an environment named development. So this stats will be get updated on the metadata file .schema file. It will be get updated with the name of development. This is the IP and the user password. Corresponding details will be get updated in the metadata file. So for this, we can't run it simply with the schema diff. If we have run it, means it will simply only validation the production. Production means the first server that we have initialized, right? That will be considered as a default production environment. So we can't simply run with a schema diff. We need to mention the environment name as well to find a difference for those servers. So and it's not a concurrent one. You can't concurrently execute in all the environments. We need to run it one by one by schema diff development. Then we need to push it. Then when we are going for the production, we need to add every time the environment name along with the command. So the comparison of community as well as the premium. So the Aurora is supported in premium only, not with the community version. Then the Windows is supported in premium. Views and triggers is not we can't edit it in the community edition. We need it is supported in premium only. For technical support like email support, everything is there in the premium. Then SSL based is also supported only in the premium edition. Limitation of schemas. So actually sub-partitioning is not supported. As I have mentioned earlier, the renaming or renaming of a column or a table is not supported. Then only DDL is supported, DML is not supported. Then partial index we can't create it. Then with the MariaDB version, the table is also not supported. Then partially support for the non-InnoDB table, but I have tested it for the MySam for the index addition as well as the column addition is worked fine actually. But as per the official of them, they are fully supported for the only InnoDB engines. So these are the reference links that I have gathered. Yeah, thanks everyone.